Our regular programming will not be seen tonight due to a special Channel 3 presentation.
Tonight, from every corner of Connecticut, a special holiday edition of PM Magazine for the entire family to enjoy.
PM Magazine Holiday Special, a gift to you.
Santa doesn't live at the North Pole. He lives in Killingly, and you'll meet him tonight.
It makes you feel like $1 million. It really does.
Then we'll go to Torrington to see some of the country's top student dancers.
Those that do survive have survived longer because they've had stronger physical training when they were younger.
We'll discover the wonders of this year's Festival of Trees.
And take a late-night tour of Mystic Seaport Museum.
We'll find out how these Hartford kids are giving the season spirit to others.
Plus, we'll meet all the magical people who live in a mall after hours.
That's all on tonight's special edition of PM Magazine.
'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house.
Hey, that's a famous poem.
Yeah, I thought I'd pick up this book for our nephew Jimmy.
Oh, that's a good idea. Everybody should hear that poem when they're young.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to our special edition of PM Magazine. I'm Pamela Nemeth.
And I'm Dave Nemeth, and tonight's special edition comes to you from the Crystal Mall in Waterford, Connecticut. Now, you know, they just completed the mall back in September, so everything is still shiny and new for the holiday season.
We've got stories for you tonight from every corner of Connecticut, starting with this first one about a man who lives in Killingly and believes he's Santa Claus.
Every year he decorates his house and his business, too, and thousands of people show up just to see what he's got to show off. And you know, if you ask some of them, they tell you they think he's Santa Claus, too.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Everyone at Mervyn Whipple's home in Bellewville wishes you a Merry Christmas. The Beavers, the Bakers, and the Bears. Everyone. What are all these creatures doing up in Bellewville, a suburb of Killingly? They're part of a local man's gift to the people of New England, and you can see them from dusk till midnight throughout the holiday season. But they're not all you can see. There are 10,000 lights, a giant nutcracker soldier on the roof, and a chapel next door. He's a cemetery worker, a monument maker. He's lived in the same house all his life. His father was a blacksmith. He's been decorating his house and business for 16 years now, adding something new each season. Now the display uses enough electricity to light nearly 20 homes. We met him the night before he opened for visitors.
We've been working at it now for about 7 weeks, actually, and from about 5 o'clock at night until midnight. But it's worth every minute of it, especially when you see the little children come in and the oohs and ahs and the twinkle in their eyes, and even to the parents, it's great. It makes you feel like $1 million. It really does.
He expects between 20 and 30,000 people from New York, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut to come by for a look this month. It's free of charge and includes a visit with Santa and free gifts for the kids.
When children see Santa, they light up like Mr. Whipple's whole display is lighting up. Their face brightens up like a 1,000,000-watt bulb. And it's something that's not explainable, but it really gets you inside.
And nobody gives a stronger endorsement than that guy, who, by the way, is a close friend of Mervyn's. Well, maybe nobody, but the couples he's married and the chapel he built next door to his business. He built it for people who needed a quiet place to think. But a young woman who visited his business one day had other plans.
And the daughter said, "Oh, Mother, I'd love to be married in that chapel." And I said, "No, I can't. That isn't what it's for." But after long, almost 3 weeks begging and teasing, I finally gave in and married her in the chapel. And as it stands right now, I've married over 360 people since 1978 in the chapel.
But his favorites are the animated creatures that fill up his showroom and stop his business for a month and a half each year. There's a 100-year-old couple, a pint-sized carousel, and a tiny Santa Claus who just can't seem to make it out of bed.
Well, of course, I have to say all of them are mine. They're my children, let's put it that way almost. I like the reindeers in the stalls and the blacksmith scene, I guess, because of my dad. And I know my mom would love the dogs and cats, as she always did. So it's reminiscent of my life, let's put it that way.
Santa doesn't live at the North Pole. He lives on a quiet street in Belleville. And it'd please him if you drop by and say hello.
I really enjoy it, first of all, but in the type of work that I'm in taking care of cemeteries, I have buried millionaires and I've buried paupers. And no one takes a thing with them. So I really want to enjoy of my life and give pleasure, if I possibly can, to others. And I must say that I've never had but one job, the job that I have now. And my community, my town, my state, my country has given me everything that I've got. And I would like to, in turn, give my portion back to them.
Now, during the Christmas holidays, there's so much traffic on Mr. Whipple Street that they have to turn it into a one-way street from dusk until 11 p.m. just so they can handle all the cars.
He really goes all out when he does his decorating, doesn't he?
I'll tell you what, one thing I'm glad of is that our tree is up, decorated, and in place.
Me too. Boy, and I think it's been about 2 weeks since we've had our tree up, and I guess that's about average for most people.
Probably, but not the people you're about to meet. These people start thinking about next year's trees the day after they take down this year's.
They're the folks who do the decorating for the Athenaeum Festival of Trees.
The Hartford Athenaeum's Festival of Trees. It's a crowd pleaser for kids of all ages. Ornaments and trees of every size and shape filling most of the first floor of the museum on Main Street. And nobody's disappointed. Getting the trees here is no easy task. The trees arrive a couple days before Thanksgiving. Some are hand-delivered and some are practically stuffed through the door. Almost all of them come here for last-minute touches. They're primped and polished one last time, checked and rearranged, and then wired into place. That'll minimize the damage curious little fingers can do later on during the show.
Here's the move. That's my...
The trees are carefully planned by people like Marguerite Montanieri. She started working on this Pearl Beauty 10 months ago.
Every year, my theme goes back to the family. In 1982, my daughter was married, so I dedicated a tree, the bride's first Christmas. And in 1983, she had her first child, and I had baby's first Christmas. Pearls are traditionally symbolic of 30 years of marriage. And this year, I designed that in honor of our marriage.
For all intents and purposes, Nick and Andrea Giudice's tree isn't very big, and the decorations aren't the most fabulous in the room. But their tree, designed and decorated with ornaments made by kids like them who can't see, is a special one. And so are Nick and Andrea, who see the tree with their hands.
I think that a person who is seeing the ornament with their hands, so to say, is seeing it, I don't know, maybe in a different way. We can tell, you know, the different kinds of things that are decorating it. When you look at an egg, maybe you say, oh, that's an egg and it's got something on it, but we can say that's it's an egg and it's been blown and it's got glitter on it and lace and stuff like that. It's textures and things.
There are lots of others, too. A money tree donated by, what else? A stock brokerage, a stained glass display, a Bill Blass wreath, even a computer. Wait a minute, a computer? Yep, a computer class at the American School for the Deaf made their donation on floppy disk. Greg Fisk and Wendy Manus own an herb store in Chester, and their tree is this year's biggest. They'd like to sell it for close to $1,000.
The tree consists of things that we gathered locally in Chester. Grapevines, black alderberry. It also has a protea in it from Holland, imported from Holland. Straw flowers, which we grew.
And sumac, wild sumac.
It's the only tree in the room while they're finishing it up. But a couple days later, the room is filled with trees, people who've come to see them, and the Christmas spirit. And Marguerite Montanieri says what everybody's thinking.
I love Christmas. I think it's a beautiful time of year.
Well, now I'm really in the holiday spirit.
Yeah, well, I'm really ready to sit down and take a break. We've been going nonstop all week long. Last Friday was the carol singing, next week's Christmas, and now shopping. I'm pooped.
Well, I'm just getting started. Well, I tell you what, we'll sit here and take a break, and then we'll meet the Critters, a Hartford theater group that interprets plays and skits for people who can't hear.
Tonight's PM Magazine Holiday Special is brought to you in part by Sears.
What's your favorite Christmas play? A Christmas Carol? It's a wonderful story. But what if you couldn't hear what the actors were saying? Well, you probably wouldn't enjoy it or understand it very well. But there's a theater group in Hartford that's doing something about it. They're bringing different kinds of theater to those of us who can't hear, and they're doing it with humor and love. They're called Critters.
All the Critters speak two kinds of English, and their audience is here for both tonight. The Critters, a West Hartford theater group, are singing tonight with their hands. Nancy is a teacher at the American School for the Deaf. Although she's not deaf, she is hearing impaired.
Sometimes I myself, I go to a movie and I miss the punchline or something like that, and you know, everybody's laughing and it's like just maybe one or two words that I've missed, but it's the whole thing.
Nobody's missing anything tonight. Keith's making sure of that. Keith's parents were both deaf. Now he helps place deaf people in jobs.
I have the opportunity to kind of throw out all of my different personalities that I have in me. On stage, you have the freedom to play different roles and act out different kinds of things that if I did them outside in the world, I'd be arrested and they'd put me in jail for it.
Leslie Warren's the Critters director. She picks out the music and works out the choreography.
We must be very careful when we interpret songs for the hearing impaired because we want to make sure that we allow them some creativity in their conceptualization of the ideas. They have to be given the same freedom that hearing people are given when they listen to a song and how they interpret it.
Footloose isn't a Christmas song, but the Critters want everyone to enjoy the show, so they work it in too.
A song like Footloose, that's the sign we chose for it, Footloose, offers a variety of interpretations. You can use that song to mean just about anything. In the Christmas show, we use it for puppets in a mall who are sick and tired of working so hard, and the signs are made in such a way so it still looks like a rock and roll song, but it gives the flavor of Christmas, so it's fun to adapt them.
The end of their show is a good old-fashioned sing-along, sign-along. Suddenly, 600 people are caroling silently together.
From our point of view, the audience will never be able to appreciate that sign-along as we do, because we can see it. They unfortunately can't. To see all the hands rising in the air and to see everybody trying to communicate in the same fashion for those few moments is a wonderful joy.
It's very self-satisfying to see other people enjoying it as well, like the deaf people who up until recently haven't had available to them a lot of what we, have every day. Music, basically.
The Critters are using their imagination and love to bring something new to people who might not otherwise have it. And so are the kids in our next story. These kids are learning about giving to other kids they don't know by name and probably won't ever see. Now, that kind of lesson can cost a lot, and a lot of people never learn it at all. But this lesson has a very specific price tag, a brand new, unwrapped toy. It looks like maneuvers. It might be a military takeover. No, it's the Marines calling all kids to the Hartford Civic Center for the 1984 Symphony on Ice.
Thank you.
The idea is simple. A great show for the whole family starring Skitch Henderson and the Hartford Symphony and the Hartford Skating Club that's free. There's a hitch, but it's a good one. To get in, you've got to bring a brand new toy. The Marines will be giving the toys to needy kids across the state.
I bring a Cookie Monster game.
The Marines here today may be the first Santas ever dressed in green.
Not really being Santa Claus. They're just helping Santa Claus out more.
They'll be collecting 10,000 toys here today, and the seats fill up fast. And then, not a moment too soon, this year's show hits the ice. Argenio is the vice president at UTC, the company that sponsors the Symphony on Ice each year.
Well, we started out the first year on a small scale, and then it kind of instantly became a tradition. And now, even I think if we wanted to stop, there's no way we can stop because everybody expects Symphony on Ice. You can see it's a full house today, and the kids love it. It's kind of a family affair that we think is a nice thing to bring to Hartford.
So does this little girl, because she knows the toy she brought today is going to make some other little girl
happy.
Looks like they had a lot of fun, huh? You know, I think the long week's gotten to Dave. He's getting pretty tired, and I haven't seen him in a while. I think I better go look for him. Let's take a break, and then we'll meet Torrington's top dancers and tour the Mystic Seaport at night. There you are. I thought I was never going to find you again. The last time I saw you, you looked like you're about to fall asleep on the bench.
Well, I was seriously considering it, and then I started thinking about this story and the time we spent the evening in Mystic, and next thing I knew, I was up ordering a cookie. Makes perfectly good sense to me.
Sounds like a good excuse to get a cookie to me.
Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you get one, and I'll tell the folks about our Mystic tour.
I'm beginning to see the light of that.
It's called Mystic Seaport at Night, and it's like stepping into another time, right back into old Connecticut. You've got to peek through the windows to see Mystic Seaport at night, right? Wrong. During the holidays, you can take a trip through the Mystic Time Tunnel and land right in 19th century New England.
Still blustering out there?
A little, yeah.
What turned you on such a cold night like tonight?
I've been bringing my friends around and showing them the town of Mystic. They've never seen it before, so they are travelers.
Well, you will stay for supper, won't you? My cook is simmering chowder on the stove, and what we'll be having is turkey, turnips, squash, plum pudding, and rum brandy.
What are we going to sing?
Well, you do it. This is song. Why don't you join in?
The exercise will warm you up for the trip down the lane to the Greenman house. Mr. Greenman's just returned from a trip to New York City. It's taken him all day by steamer to get back home.
New York City was particularly different this year. They had electric illumination in the central part of the city, even on some of the Christmas trees.
Electric illuminations? I dare say we have nothing like that here in Mystic.
Well, perhaps someday.
I hope not. But I do love my candles on a Christmas tree. The lights look so pretty among the branches. They look just like stars to me. And they're just so lovely on the tree. But the sparks, they can be dangerous. I just have my bucket full of water here and my sponge, just to catch any errant sparks.
A quick good night to the Greenmans, and then it's back out into the night. This time, it's down past the grocery store to the end of the road where St. Nicholas lives. He's napping in his living room, catching a last precious moment of rest before heading out on his annual rounds.
Oh, my, you caught old St. Nicholas napping. Have you been good?
Yes, sir.
What is your name?
Kathy.
Kathy? Let me see, I got a list here. Kathy. There's a lot of names here. Catherine. Is that right? Well, so you've been good. And what about you?
Kenneth.
Kenneth? Oh, yeah. Kenneth. But it says they have trouble getting to mow the lawn sometimes or something. Is that right? We're not going to hold that against you, though. You do mow it, don't you?
Mystic Seaport has made time travel possible for everyone, and it doesn't take a lot of preparation. Just bring your hats, your gloves, and a sense of adventure. Do you know the story of the Nutcracker Suite? Well, it's probably one of the most popular Christmas-time ballets in the country. It's the story of a little girl named Clara who receives a Nutcracker doll for Christmas. Now, when Clara falls asleep, she dreams that the doll becomes a handsome prince, and they visit all sorts of magical lands together. Well, almost every ballet in the country will be performing at least a portion of the Nutcracker this Christmas season. And the Nutmeg Ballet in Torrington is no exception. They've been practicing for months.
It's 2 nights before Thanksgiving, and the students at the Nutmeg School of Ballet in Torrington are working on pointing a little straighter, lifting a little higher. Some have been here since early afternoon. Many will get home late tonight. In 5 days, they'll begin the 1984 run of the Nutcracker Suite, a traditional holiday program. Natasha Fielding is 10 years old. This is her first year with the school. Jamie Dugokinski's in his 4th year. And this is Missy Sandrini's 9th year.
I think a good dancer is a person with a lot of talent and who has trained for a long time and has a very good attitude about it and just keeps going without stopping. Just goes for their dreams. I figure myself as a pre-dancer, like just beginning to become a dancer.
Natasha has been with us a short time. She has obviously displayed a gift to dance, both potential and interest.
Sharon Dante started the school 10 years ago with 4 students. 3 of those original 4 have picked up top honors in competition, including an international gold medal last year.
She has a nice body, she has the interest, and she has a nice feeling about her dancing.
The Nutmeg program takes 6 years to finish. The beginning students learn the basics. Intermediate kids meet more often and work on techniques beyond the foundation. The advanced group is at the studio several hours a day, stretching their bodies to make magic seem easy. Tonight, Donna Bonacera is leading all 3 groups.
By the time they're 16 and 17 years old, and they really have decided on a dance career, we're then looking for the aesthetic ability. And a lot of that work doesn't only come from their teachers, a majority of the work will come from themselves.
Jamie's 14. His friends all play football. Jamie dances and dreams about competing on an international level.
Wanting to be a dancer is different in that you have to start young and work on it continually.
Jamie's a little older than Natasha, and he's in the next bracket from Natasha. Now, Jamie has developed some of that physicality. Then he will have all those years to develop the artistic ability of it.
Jamie's older brother dances too. But when most boys play with toy guns and footballs, it's not easy being a dancer. It's harder still to give up time with his friends to practice.
There's times that I'll be teased and I'll say, I don't ever want to go there to that studio again. I want to go home and I want to be normal. But then I think about all the thrill of performing in front of 1,500 people. And when there's a standing ovation, with that feeling that you get inside, and the feeling that I got when my brother was up on stage in New York, and just say that you want to give that feeling to other people, and you want to be up there yourself, and then you get through it.
Missy leaves school every day at noon to be here before 1. Tonight, she'll be here until
9. There have been many times that dancing has discouraged me when I'm
up till 12 o'clock doing homework at night, I'll say, I don't want this. This is too hard. And when my body aches after coming home, I can go home and cry to my mom. But she says the hard work will pay off in the end in the performance. And performance time comes, and I'm ready to go. And I'm just happy that I've done it all these years.
Sharon Dante comes in for one of the last rehearsals at the studio.
Would you do me a favor, all of you? Would you take a deep breath, relax a little bit, fix your shoes? I mean, even in a run like this, I would like your shoes fixed.
It's a no-nonsense time for everyone.
Those that do survive have survived longer because they've had stronger physical training when they were younger, and they've had teachers who really are able to put that point across to them.
3 nights later, the troupe is at the Warner Theater. The lights are up, and the Nutcracker is into its first complete run-through of the season.
My hope is not necessarily that they all become dancers. We know that's quite impossible because this is a student ballet company. My hope is that they find their way, that somehow their experience through Nutmeg Ballet is going to help them to find their way to help others, whether it be being a doctor, being a lawyer, whatever, as long as they're happy with what they're doing.
I feel good about myself and all the work that I put into it. I think ballet is a wonderful thing, and I'm dedicated to it.
And of course, Clara wakes up in the end and discovers that it's all been a dream. You know, I'm still pretty tired. I think I'm just gonna sit here for a while and just close my eyes, just for a little bit.
Where's Steve? The minute I turn my back, he's gone. Oh, well, I've still got a few more things to get tonight. I guess we'll just have to catch up with each other later.
Hey, where did everybody go? Hello? Hello? Is anybody here? Huh. Nobody. I must have fallen asleep. The mall must be closed. I wonder where Pamela went. Is anybody here? Pamela?
Need some help?
Yeah, hey. Where did you come from? You're not Pamela.
No, I'm not. I'm one of the holiday spirits that lives in Crystal Mall after closing time.
Holiday spirits?
Yes, we're all around you. Look, as long as you're stuck here, and you are stuck here,
Yeah, I guess so.
why don't you come with me to meet some of my friends?
Now, wait a minute. I'm not so sure I believe I'm seeing you. I know I'm not going to be able to see them.
Well, then you'll never see them. You've got to believe that magic can happen before it does. Look over there.
I don't see anything.
You're not trying. Come on. Listen to the music.
Music? I don't hear any music. Wow, that was terrific. How did you do that?
It's the magic of the season, the holiday spirit.
Show me more.
All right. There's something down at the hobby store you might like to see. It's a dollhouse.
A dollhouse?
It's not just a dollhouse. Look inside.
Will you read this to us?
"'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads, and Mamma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter. I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new-fallen snow gave a luster of midday to objects below, when what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke, it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod, up the chimney he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew, like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all a good night."
Thank you.
It was the night before Christmas. I remember that poem. I remember the first time I heard it as a child. You know, Christmas seemed like it was a lot more important then. Nowadays, it seems like it's just shop, work, cook, and make sure you get the Christmas cards in the mail on time.
It's easy to lose the spirit, for the magic to slip away.
Yeah, and I guess it has.
Well, we'll see if we can't get some of it back for you. And I think I know a few folks who might be able to help us. I wonder where they are this time of night.